How bored are you? How frustrated are you? Do you think sometimes that maybe I'll never really like my career? Maybe I'll never be happy? I have 3 words for you. You are normal. Because what you're experiencing, no one has ever explained before, and I'm going to explain it to you. I'm going to explain it to you using this model, and you are in a crossroad. In this video, I'm going to explain how external circumstances and internal experiences can throw us into a crossroad. It makes it really difficult for you to think straight. So my job today is to help you get your feet on the ground and understand that you're going to be okay and get you thinking straight. Hey, I'm Helen Hariza, ready to provide you with an efficient, strategic process to make a career choice or a career change. I'm going to use the Elevate Career Cycle to smooth out your transition and improve the quality of the career decisions that you make. And hey, if you're new here, subscribe. Now let's jump into the video. A crossroad is a time in your life when your talents are not aligned with what you're doing, or you don't have any idea what you're doing. And a crossroad is always marked by a feeling of stuckness. That's a word that I make up. So what it really means is that your values, what's important to you, the skills that you enjoy using, your interests and your temperament, your aptitudes, all the pieces that make up your talent profile are not being supported by your life at this particular moment in time. And honestly, I can tell you that that just makes you feel frustrated and bored and a little crazy. And so it's actually pretty normal to hit crossroads, and they do happen periodically through our lives. They happen sort of for one of 2 reasons. One reason could be something external in your life changes, like you are laid off, or you don't like your job anymore, or you have a boss from an alien planet, or your spouse or your partner relocates and you have to start all over again. And often you can feel both fear, and fear is this red arrow in the anxiety scale. You feel fear when your life goes into the crossroad, but you can also feel angry. You're like, oh, hey man, I've dedicated my life to this, or I really had it going well and now it's kind of messed up. Thanks a lot. So it can be really kind of a painful place to be. But you know what's really weird is that no one ever tells you about this. You've never heard about a crossroad before. In fact, you kind of internally feel like you're losing it or you're crazy when you go into the crossroad. And then there's the internal crossroads. Internal crossroads happen, they can actually be kind of subtle. They're like, I don't know if this is what I really, really like, or is this how life is going to be? Is this it? Or I'm done. I just am done with this career and all of a sudden I need to do something else. Or in my case, I had this feeling like, especially in my 20s when I was doing my quarter life crisis, I felt like there had to be more. I was doing a good job being messy. I was in my 3rd clerical job out of college, and I promise you, I should not ever be in a clerical job. I was doing a terrible job, and I felt like I was messing up. I felt like I was behind. Like everybody else in the world knew what they wanted, but I didn't, and I wasn't doing very well financially. But let me tell you a secret. I actually knew what I wanted to do. I knew what I wanted to do. But all I could see were all the reasons why I couldn't do it. I didn't think that I could afford graduate school. I never saw myself as going to graduate school, frankly. I don't do well on standardized tests, so the thought of trying to pass the GRE was a huge barrier. And so then one day I asked my mom, I said, hey mom, you know what? I think I'd really like to be a counselor. And she said, well, Helen, why would you want to sit around and listen to people's problems all day long? And I thought, oh, well, she must be right. I mean, why would anyone want to do that? And so between the GRE and the money and la 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 la, I just gave up. I just like left it. And so now I had sort of done what you do, which is I kind of wanted to get out of the crossroad, and then I jumped back in the box because it was too hard, too scary, too frightening. Fill in the blank, all right? But you know what's cool is that we're meant to grow. And so in my case, eventually I finally realized, I am going to go become a counselor. I'm going to make it happen. And all of my friends and family, when I had my epiphany, said, finally, as if it was perfectly obvious, which was not very appealing to me. But nevertheless, I did begin to pursue my future as a counselor. And obviously, you know that happened and I got there and all that kind of stuff. So we don't have to tell that part of the story. But the point that I want to make is that there are 4 primary things that you can do when you're in a crossroad to pull yourself out of that place. First, I know it sounds simple, but please just decide. You don't want to continue being miserable, frustrated, depressed. You actually have to make a decision. And then I want you to recognize this red arrow is the truth for everybody. If you're contemplating making a change or you feel stuck, your fears are normal, natural, and an indication that you're ready to make a change in your life. I want you to know that things can get better. So the third point is consider the possibility that things can get better. And 4, and I'll say this as gently as I can, please stop blaming others and making excuses if that's what you're doing, because the get out of the crossroad is really about taking accountability. And you have to recognize that it's you that's going to get you out of this crossroad, no matter what's happened to you. So here's my call to action for this particular period of time before you see my next video. I want you to, every morning when you lift your head off the pillow, when you wake up in the morning, I want you to just tell yourself, I'm going to make a change. I want you to make a promise to yourself. I'm going to make a change. That's all I want you to do, just that tiny little step. And I want you to notice that the fear and even the anger that you might be feeling will begin to subside little by little. See you next time.